I'm 21 years old, but I started riding when I was 2 years old. So I technically have, 18, 19 years of experience,
It's
which is
wild.
crazy to say.
Right.
So when you say it like that, it's really gnarly. Injury was really tough. So
Right.
that was the best feeling about the whole hardline win was just the year prior on it being worth it. Oh yeah, I mean it's just to be back in the start gate, I think, for me. It's been too long.
What's up, everybody? Nick Mitzenmacher here, GoPro Bike Podcast, episode 1. We are starting this thing off with a bang. We're talking preseason training, injury updates, hardline wins, and what it's going to take to get him back to the top this year. Rad. All right. Well, first one ever, GoPro Bike Podcast. I got none other than Mr. Jackson Goldstone himself. What, two elite wins under the belt, almost an overall. I mean, insane first season. Took off second season, which we can dive into a little bit. But yeah, welcome to the, I guess, first inaugural podcast for GoPro Bike.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nick.
Yeah,
Stoked to be on here. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, so yeah, let's
nice.
hop
We
on.
can, we can get deep into it. Yeah, I guess let's start with maybe injury. Like, you're coming off last year. Like, how was that process? Because obviously, like, you went into this crazy first, like, we worked together. We got this crazy doc out. If you guys haven't seen it, Beyond
Mhm.
Limits with Jackson Goldstone, crazy first season. So yeah, coming off like a crazy year and then having to take a full year off. How was that process? Like,
Yeah, I mean that was obviously, a tough year for me, not being able to race or anything that year. With the ACL injury, that was yeah. I'm looking back on it now that I've come through and done the rehab and everything, it was yeah, it was a big one. Like it took, it still takes 9 to 10 months to, heal an ACL. So it's still even now over a year later, it cracks and pops and stuff still. But um, yeah, like taking that year off was tough, and I just was basically glued to the gym and tried to do everything I could for rehab and stuff there, and yeah, did was able to get a few trips and was able to still go to some of the World Cups, but with taking that much time off, it was so tough to get back on the bike and figure out where I was.
and like being, I remember I saw you at the races. I saw you biking a few times, which is rad to see, like you pedaling
Yeah, I was
around. But
pedaling around. Yeah,
did you feel like you got to view it from a different perspective being there? Obviously, you're not racing, the stress isn't there anymore. Like, what was that like being there? Like, were you being able to like dissect things a bit more to kind of understand other riders, like look at things differently?
yeah. I mean, I had the opportunity to do that. Take notes on what other people are doing for sure. But it was also a time for me to just be a fan of mountain bike racing. Like it was pretty funny. I was at the bottom of the finish corral for what was it? I think it was Leger, Val di Sole, and Leo Gang. Yeah, I was at those last three races last year, and I'm just a fan in the crowd pretty much when I'm not racing. So yeah, it was cool to be at the races and be a spectator for once. It's a really cool sport to watch. I just don't get to watch it much because I'm usually up there, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got to feel weird. Like, that's definitely a weird perspective to like, you probably have never really had that experience because you've been in this since you're like out of the womb, basically, like riding
Yeah.
bikes. And I think I've listened
Yeah,
to other
and
podcasts.
and juniors you get, you can race and then you're changed by the time that the guys are coming down or the rest of the race is happening. So you usually get to watch that, but yeah, it's been a few years since I've gotten to do that.
Yeah, what's the like I guess racing elites to juniors, like what's that kind of difference? Like is there a lot of difference? Do you see similarities?
Similarities are in, the track and all that, but the differences on your competition and who you're going up against, and the formats are also a little different too. But um, yeah, the step up from juniors to elite is huge, and it's really hard. It takes, some people it takes, a few years to get going, and I was lucky enough to kind of get going in my first year, and it still took a few races, but um yeah, it's a different world than elites for sure, but stoked to be going back into it this year. I'm looking forward to being back in the races.
Nice. And that first win, like that was the one I didn't of course I was not at when we were shooting,
No.
which was such a bummer. But like you step into elites your first year, you know, obviously there's a lot riding into it. Your name's big. You've got lots of success in your name. How was that like first win when you hit that for the first time in elites?
Yeah, the first win was obviously massive. I felt like I was getting there, like I was close. So the first race of my elite year was Lenza Hyde. I was just coming off a weird appendix thing, and then ended up getting six at that race. And then the next race was Leo Gang, and I was on a really good run, had a mistake in like the very last corner and got third, lost a bunch of time on that. And then yeah, Val di Sole was the third race of that year. And yeah, I won it. So it was a good build going up into that race.
I think it was just a constant build that year, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
All the way to the end. Minus the appendix blowing up, there was like the little like valleys you'd hit, and then it would like
yeah,
excel even crazier, which was insane.
yeah, exactly.
And then full circle, I guess. So you're have a crazy season, you're off a full year, and then here comes the race that destroyed you and took you out for a year. You win
Yeah.
that thing. How was that feeling?
So yeah, I mean, going into Hardline 2025 Tasmania, that was, where I hurt myself from the year before. And Um, there was a lot of talk on, how much pressure there's going to be, and there's going to be new riders and all this, new section of track and all this stuff. And I wanted to go just because I love going to the hardlines. They're such a fun week. You get to hit big jumps and then race a sick track like that and ride with, people you want to ride with. So
Right.
that was my reasoning on going is just because of how much fun you have that week, and
Mhm.
it's really good for the media side of things, and also it's kind of a good starter race to get you kind of going for the season. So yes, unfortunately took me out last year for the whole year, but I was keen for some redemption, and
Yeah,
yeah, I got it. I was super
got that.
stoked to win that race. It was definitely unexpected, but
Nice. Yeah, I was sitting here watching it with my boys, and we were like, "Let's go!" Like insane, bro. And like, was there? Did you feel? Obviously, I mean, that track looks fast in sections.
yeah,
You're hauling, and then it gets techie.
it's proper.
It's proper for sure. It's
Yeah.
a bit different than like your typical, I feel like, downhill track. It seems like it's built slightly different. Obviously, to like
Mm,
maybe it's more of like the Hardline series is kind of going a
yeah.
slightly different way. But did you feel like there was any reserve going into that, being that you did injure yourself the previous year? Like, did you hold back initially? Like, when did you let go? Because obviously, you let go
Yeah.
once you hit the race run.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was definitely quite reserved the whole week pretty much. Like, was, doing my thing, like having fun riding how I want to ride, everything. But I wasn't like, coming out the gate pushing speed, grabbing pedals everywhere, for the first week. And then I woke up race morning and just kind of started, I don't know, started those first two practice runs went so good for me for some reason. I don't know. I started like, I just dropped in and I was hitting every line perfect, and, was feeling really good on the bike. I was like, okay, like started to think to myself, okay, we're feeling good now. Like I'm going to go for it a bit harder. Like kind of go for a podium kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then yeah, my race one was good. Like I was in control pretty much the entire way. Like I had one little probably moment up top. I don't even think you could see it really,
Right.
but um yeah, was pretty much in control the whole way, which I was, really stoked on. And that's basically what I went there to do. And then the run was fast enough to hold up against ASA. So
Yeah, that's
sick.
crazy. I remember seeing somewhere else, and maybe this can relate to like the whole GoPro scene. Like, obviously, GoPro athlete, you rock the camera probably more than anybody does. I heard somewhere in there that you like had seen something on the monitor from maybe Troy, I
Yeah.
think it was, and then you like went back to the footage. Like, what, like, did you see something in there that like obviously you saw on the monitor? So were you like picking it out back in your like race footage on your helmet to see like kind of where you go?
Yeah, so I was there was a little screen up at the top that I ended up watching Troy Brosnan do this one little like cheeky line over the top of a corner. Anyways, I was up top and like just warming up for my run, and then ended up seeing that line, just happened to look at it at the right time. And yeah, so I like went into that that section, fully blind, haven't seen the thing. I looked at a GoPro of from that last run, but
Hmm.
where I would like go the other direction over the corner, like I didn't have a GoPro of me hitting the corner, obviously, because I
Right.
haven't done it yet.
Yeah, the first
Um,
time.
but yeah, I watched an old GoPro and I saw some tire marks going off the corner. So I kind of knew that, I guess follow the tire marks and hopefully that's the line. So yeah, I came in on the race run and came into that section, followed the tire marks, and it worked out. So stoked on it.
How important is it like for, because it seems like a lot of riders use it to analyze track or speed or time, or I know you and Lori would like run them at the same time during season and like kind of compare times, like you go high, you go low. Like how
Yeah.
important is that as like a training tool slash like, yeah, just to like keep excelling and cutting? Because obviously now it's like the races before used to be seem like there was a larger gap, and now it just seems like everything is so tight. Minus like you had your crazy MSA run, like Omri last year had those crazy runs too. But like for
Mhm.
most of the races, it's milliseconds it's coming down to. So like
Yeah.
how important is like having the GoPro to like really analyze what you're doing at the speeds and everything you guys are going at?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I use the GoPro almost every single time I'm riding my bike these days. Like if I'm just going out for, like a quick trail ride, I might not throw it on or whatever. But if I'm riding downhill bike, there's a GoPro on my helmet. And if I'm at a World Cup doing test runs, every run or like every practice run, I've got the camera, recording in case, I find some sick line or something that um, I was only able to repeat in that one run or something, were to happen. You got to have it rolling. So, yeah, I just have been keeping it on. But yeah, it's so good for, finding lines and picking things apart. And you can tell with, the distance between if you're following someone or just the speed on the GoPro, putting two and two together or well, whatever. It's super easy to help practice and figure out some lines.
Do you ever, I guess I'm going to answer my own question somewhat. Do you ever see, like, because you guys are going so fast down this track and it's everything is coming by you so quick. Do you ever look at it frame by frame and find things that you like wouldn't normally see as you're like riding down? I mean, you guys stop a lot along the race run, like or when you're practicing, but do you
Mhm.
ever see things in there that you've like never seen while you're like riding because now you can analyze like frame by frame essentially?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. Yeah, we'll like, pause on like let's say this rock garden or this
Mhm.
like, root ball or corner or something, and then we'll kind of just, draw our line that we want to pick or, try and, figure out what our best line is. So, yeah, we're using me, Lori and Felix and, Nina, we're all using GoPros the whole
Right.
time. So the whole syndicate's using it a lot.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, it's interesting to like see how you like it's a game of milliseconds now. So it's like what's gonna be that small, speed suits are now a thing that's cutting milliseconds off. Like there's lots of things coming into play, but it's at this point it's like you're trying to grasp for anything, it just seems like. So it is cool to hear that like that is a tool in the bag that you do have that, not everybody utilizes, but it seems like it's beneficial at times for sure. Cool. Well, let's dive into season, I guess, or off season. Like that race happens. What's going on in off season? Obviously, the season's coming up here. How are we feeling? Are we feeling back to 100%? What's going on here in the off season?
Yeah, so following Hardline, I had a team camp in Queenstown that following week after with the whole syndicate. Didn't go perfect. We had some parts that we needed that didn't show up and stuff. So there was a few things that happened there. But yeah, no, been home since then. Had a bit of a shoulder injury that kind of annoyed me quite a bit. I'm totally fine. Like I didn't, do any damage or anything, but just,
Nice.
crashed into a tree and then just
Silly
had to take,
things.
a week, 2 weeks off the bike. So I'm back on it now. I'm gonna go hopefully ride some downhill bikes later this afternoon. So
Nice.
we'll see. But yeah, no, off season's been going good. Just been yeah, focusing on training and building up the strength going into this year and yeah, we're in a good place.
Nice. Heck yeah. Yeah. What are you looking to? Obviously, lots changing this year.
Hmm.
What are you looking to like forward most? I mean, obviously, it's probably just getting back into the racing in general,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, is there anything that's like top of mind? Like, what's going into this new season? What are you looking forward to?
Oh yeah, I mean it's just to be back in the start gate, I think, for me. it's been too long. So yeah, really looking forward to just, getting that first practice over with and getting, tires on dirt. So
Dial in. Yeah, it's a long time off the bike being in that like that. I don't think people understand there's hard lines, there's like just riding, and then there's like once you step foot in that start gate, like maybe explain that. Like when you're on finals day, obviously things are changing as far as like the how the days go now, but yeah,
Mhm.
finals day when you step into that start gate, like what is that what is the feeling in there? Cuz I don't think it can be like unless you're there to
Yeah,
fully feel it, but
yeah. It's a crazy feeling being there. I mean, it you could feel something different every single time going in. It could feel the same for someone going in every single time. Like I'm always super nervous going in. Like I get nervous and then, try and calm myself down as much as I can before runs. But then you look at like Ronan or someone, he's like shadow boxing, trying to hype himself up, or
right, jacked
like
up.
he's
Yeah.
like trying to go crazy, listening to crazy music. So it's cool to see, there's the different aspects of me trying to calm myself down, and then Ronan trying to hype himself up. So there's a lot of different, you can see within it, all the riders up there on kind of who does what. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy feeling.
That like feel, yeah, the feeling up top, you can like hear a pin drop at times because it's
Oh yeah,
just like the scene is set. Like usually it's more loose
you
all
just
week,
hear
and then once
beeps,
that day hits,
beep,
yeah, it's
beep, beep.
everything's going, and
Over
then
and
it's
over
go
and
go go,
over
yeah.
again. Yeah.
The bells are clinging, everything's
Yeah,
going, dude, which is
yeah.
insane. Did you, I guess going into this season and kind of reflecting on it, did you learn any like big things or like that you're taking into season two now? Obviously, you had a full season off, so it's hard to like fully get right into like, oh yeah, I learned this and I learned that. But like coming off of season one and learning like what's learnings going into season two that you're gonna apply.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's too many big things. I think it's just having, the little small bases covered on, knowing and just having the experience on what it's like at the races. Like for me, I'm nowhere near as experienced as I need to be, um to or as I want to be, let's say. I still have tons of learning to do. But I feel like I've got a good start, and I think I know what the process is that you need to win. So I just need to keep trying to follow that, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely a different world up at the World Cups. It's crazy.
It's humbling to hear that because I think anybody that looks at you, they go, "Oh, this kid's got it figured out." Obviously, you got years and years ahead of you. You know, look at someone like a Greg Madar, a Loic
Mhm.
Bruni, like they've been racing for a long
Yeah,
time, and then you've obviously got like you're in year one, and it's like crazy to think that you've got 20 more years ahead of you to do this. It's like humbling to hear that you like say that because I don't think anybody would assume that you're like, oh, I need more to. Obviously, there's always learning lessons, but
yeah,
it seems like you like this is just your heart. Like you're comfortable there. I guess is what you could say.
yeah. I feel like I know what, I know what I'm good at, like I know what I want to do, and I know, the things on how, the trails that I like to ride and all that
Right.
stuff. And it's like the things that I've learned from juniors and stuff, and the rest of my, younger years. But it's the stuff from the like Loics and the, other racers that are older. It's the things that they've learned that I need to, kind of learn, if
Yeah.
that
Which
makes any sense.
comes
Like
it comes with time. It's like
it just
wisdom.
comes
Yeah.
with time.
It
Yeah.
comes with time.
Like I'm not worried about it. I know I will figure it out at some point, and those little things, but um yeah, they're definitely more experienced than me.
Well, your parents have raised an insane kid because you have a great head on your shoulders, dude. And I got to witness that like firsthand, being alongside you for season one. Like, how do you like manage all that? Like, obviously, you could have a big ego getting into this where you are with your success, and I think people see, obviously you're very far across media as far as, people want to shoot with you. They want to have you in their teams. They want to do this and that with you. How do you separate that? Because obviously you're really good on camera. You always like made sure to like come to me when we needed footage, and like I know
Hmm.
that's a lot, dude. I can like I try to be on a fly on the wall as much as I can when I'm shooting with you or with anybody for that matter. But like how how is that as like as young as you are and the like head that you have on your shoulders, how is that manageable? Because it seems like at times there's just way too much going on. Is
Yeah.
it? Do you feel like do you get home? You're like, wow, why did I do all that? I should not. Or is it like I love
A
this
hundred
and
percent. I'm really bad at saying no to some things, which is, yeah, sometimes bites me in the foot. But um, no, yeah, it's tough. Like, a lot of companies do want to do, film projects and stuff, and especially, with not racing last year, I did a lot of filming stuff, in the fall and winter, kind of make up for some of the riding that I missed and some of the things that I missed. So it was, yeah, quite a lot. Like I think I've shot, in 20 end of 2024, even though I was, not riding that much, I think I still shot like 4 or 5 videos. Yeah, it was quite a lot of filming, and then, but I definitely need to learn how to say no to some of them though, because I'll agree to one like 2 days before I'm, flying out somewhere, and then it's like, shit, why am I doing this? It's like I'm just putting up way too much stress on myself. So I need to,
yeah.
those are the things I need to learn.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, again, it's with time. It's like the
Yeah.
talking to Loic, he was the same. He's like, I used to say yes to everything, then eventually it hit to a point where like I just have to know where my limit is to
Hmm.
like keep focused, kind of thing, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But I love filming, and, it's still where it's another thing that I love to do, like
Right.
I love racing, I love filming, and then, doing all these other things. So it's still, somewhere that my heart's at. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Was like kind of like I know shitty to take off a whole year, but like was that kind of almost like a breath of fresh air, being that you've never really had a I'm assuming an injury that big or a break that big, like it was cool to see
yeah.
you in a different element when I saw you. Like it just seemed like stress wasn't there. You were telling me you got to go to like the Porsche thing to go do that. Like those are things that you're not normally getting to do. Like was that a like kind of like a yeah, like a weight off your shoulders? You could kind of go be a kid and just have some fun for like a year basically.
Yes and no. I did get to drive a Porsche for 4 days. That was really fun. So there was some events, yeah, that were like that, but it was hard work. Like the injury was really tough. So
Gnarly.
um yeah, it was a good break though. I think it did help me kind of just get the love for the sport back again, and, kind of get that drive and everything to get better and everything. So, it's the seasons are so long, and they're so hard that you get pretty burnt out after a year. So
Right.
like I was going into, a pretty my when I hurt myself in Hardline, it was like I had a lot of stuff going on, and that it was going to be a really busy season, and I had so much planned and stuff. Like I had 3 video projects planned going into the season and training and stuff. So I was like looking at what my schedule would have been.
Right.
It would have been, you
Crazy.
know, crazy. So maybe taking the break was what I needed. I
It's a
I don't
blessing in
know, but
disguise.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
It just was maybe a few months longer than I wanted.
right. Of course. Yeah. 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 Do you, I guess going into it now, like, do you think that just lit more fire under you? That, like,
Yeah,
now you're just more want than ever now?
yeah. It definitely helps.
Nice. And I think
Definitely
the
helps.
hardline one helps for sure to know that, like,
That
you're
well,
back. It's,
that
you're
that
there.
just proves it,
Proves
that
it right.
it proves that the hard work paid off. So that's the best part. Like that was the best feeling about the whole hardline win, was just the year prior on, you know, it being worth it, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see that. I see that.
Yeah.
Were you in the gym? Like, how often were you rehabbing? Like every day,
Oh
4 days
yeah, it
every day?
was like, I mean, it was pretty chill at the start, like for the first 3 weeks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right after surgery, because you can't really do much at all.
Right.
But, once you hit that 2, 3 week mark, it's like full
You're
guns from
going.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damo probably had you on a pretty good program.
Damo had me working hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I witnessed that. He almost made you puke a few times when I was with you.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Knowing that you've been or have had the title of fastest in the world twice, year one, you've had hardline hit you, you've had wins under your belt, you have success, and you've been fastest in the world. Like, how do you get back to that point for season two at this point now that you've taken the year off and we're getting back into it now?
Yeah. It's a good question. For me, building back into this season, it's building back to be the best in the world. That's the goal. That's what everyone's trying to do. So for me, it's riding as much as I can, It's gymming as much as I can. Like it's just trying to tick all the boxes pretty much. Um, I will have less boxes than, other riders would, let's say. Like some people, are taking off, a lot more things than me, like, going way deeper into nutrition and deeper into the body and stuff. I'm still kind of, on the leaner side of that thing where I just, eat what I want and and I'm not doing as many, interval rides and stuff like
Right.
that. I'm not sitting on the trainer for 2 hours every day. I'm mostly just going out and riding, having fun and yeah, kind of just doing what I want to when I'm
Yeah.
uh when I'm riding and stuff. So for me that's worked in the past to build up to the races, and me saying that is like I'm riding every single day, like I'm
Right.
gymming 4 days a week, like I'm still working hard, but yeah, it's fun work over here
Doing what you love.
because I just get to ride my bike all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Heck yeah. That's awesome. I guess like having that title of fastest in the world, like when you first got that, or second, when the second one hit, that's even more gratification. And then
Hmm.
almost like I didn't remember the statistic. It was like somebody had to lose by like 0.07 or something for you to take overall. And at one point, we didn't even
Yeah.
think it was like that was where the turmoil hit in our episode, was that like you thought you were fully out and then like crashed coming to that second to last race. And
Hmm.
then it was like, whoa, game on. There's possibility still.
Yeah.
I guess just having that title, obviously, I would assume, ultimate goal down the road or somewhere in your career, you want to have that overall title. But like just having a podium win and being labeled fastest in the world, like, what's that feel like even?
Yeah, I mean that feels like nothing else, I
Right.
think. It's what everybody's pushing and training and putting their whole lives to do. So when it finally happens, it's super rewarding. So yeah, to get those two wins in elite in my first year was unreal. So yeah, got to go back that up now this year.
Back it up. There we go. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like I was looking at statistics last night of like, it's crazy to even think this is like, so you've had 2 wins under your belt. I think it's like let's talk about this last year. There's 7 races on the board, and with world champs, there's another one too. But there's like 130 riders that go out every week. And I think there's only been a total of 41 riders in total, like name wise, that have like, obviously people have multiples too of like,
Hmm.
of like individual races. But like, that's even a crazier statistic to me, is like, you would think there'd be more people winning, more often,
Hmm.
but the names that have won multiple times and have multiples under their belt. Now it's getting to
Yeah.
the point where like every race is a different person almost.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's
like
definitely changing more.
just knowing that is like 41 out of, okay, what I think I think it was 91, 92 it started or something like that. And that's 1,000 racers, let's call it a year. So you're, like
There would
over
be, yeah,
crazy amount of like people have gone through the races, and you're one of the 41 to like have
yeah,
won, 2 races for that matter, and hopefully plenty more down the road. We got
yeah,
plenty of years ahead of you. So,
yeah. It's crazy when you say it like that, I guess.
right.
When you bring up those stats.
Yeah, I'd heard it somewhere and it like blew my mind. I was like, because I'm still fairly new to the whole World Cup racing. I've worked on it with GoPro for plenty of years of like cutting the footage, but like fully dove into it when I came out with you, and
Yeah,
like learning all those things. That like just is it's wild to think that that's the statistic that runs into this,
yeah,
and to know that you're
yeah.
so
That's
young and
huge
have that is wild. Well, that's
for
cool,
sure.
dude. I guess this season, so there's some changes happening. Is there a race you're looking forward to the most? Like one of the newer tracks, or just one of the tracks in general? Like what's the one race you are looking forward to the most?
Like from a track point of view, like I think that new La Tuile spot in Italy. So there's going to be a new World Cup there.
Cool.
And yeah, it's called La Tuile. I raced an EWS there actually a few years ago, which was pretty funny. But yeah, anyways, that one I'm really looking forward to. I've seen like the course preview kind of looking thing, and it looks super, super sick. And the town there's awesome. So
Cool.
that's one of them I can't like wait to go to. But
Okay.
yeah, definitely Poland as well. I didn't get to race
Poland.
that last year because because of my knee injury, and then it was the first time that they've had that, so I've never been there as well. So looking forward to that as well.
So you like the newer track. You like I mean, the new tracks are always fun. A lot of these you've raced
Yeah,
so many years in a
yeah,
row.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's fun to mix it up and stuff. But
yeah. And if you had an all-time favorite track, what would you say it is?
MSA, 100%. Yeah,
Just because it's
always,
hometown or
always.
what?
Yeah,
Just 'cause
always.
it's hometown. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a cool, I mean, that whole area is cool. I played hockey up there for many years. And yeah, just that whole area of Canada is just so cool.
yeah.
And if you had a dream track that you could race at that maybe has
Ooh,
never been seen on the circuit or just as a place to ride, they could build a track even, where would that be? It's probably a loaded question.
probably Whistler. Well, Whistler,
Whistler.
Whistler needs a World Cup, or somewhere around this side of Canada needs a World Cup, or
Yeah.
this side of the world, let's say, not Europe.
So more US Canada stops basically.
Yeah, that's what I think it needs. I really hope Whistler happens at some point, but a Whistler World Cup would be so cool because the amount of stuff that happens around this area for mountain biking, and then how it doesn't have the top level of
Right.
racing come through. It's like it
Shocking.
deserves it, I think. So
Yeah.
hopefully that
I mean,
happens soon.
Crakeworks was like, that was a proper track, dude. It wasn't like, I
Crankworks
mean,
is
obviously
like,
there's things that you
yeah.
worked on, but like for what I saw of it, I mean, dude, it was techie and proper for the sure.
Oh, the Crankworks 1199 track is like gnarlier than a World Cup track, but
Right.
I think it's literally just down to logistics as being the
Right.
problem. So
Yeah.
yeah,
How are you going to race that this year? Do you think? Is that on your
100%,
agenda?
a
You're
hundred
gonna,
percent gonna race it. I really, really want to, but I've had the appendix and then the knee injury, and then hopefully this year I'll be
oh,
healthy.
both
So
years. So you didn't
yeah,
race it year one either. Oh,
both
dang.
years
Okay.
I haven't raced. I've
Oh,
never put my tires on dirt on the 1199 track,
okay.
which
So,
is hilarious because it's closed not during the race. So
okay. They don't even
um,
open up for the Jackson Goldstones ever?
yeah, no,
Secret
no.
training ground for you? Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, that track it was legit. But yeah, I could see it being like a logistical thing of just how you move the whole city. Like it's a whole orchestra that goes into these World Cups, not just a show up and ride thing. So going, I guess, for the future fan, like there's these kids, like I got to witness again. Kids like my kids, even I mean, dude, they talk, they will go down bike paths going, "Jump Jackson Goldstone." Like it's so funny. Like and they got the chance to be out there and like see it firsthand when they were 3, which was so cool. I guess for the future kid that's growing up, like what does it take to get to elites, or what's like a word of advice you'd have to like, have a career that you've had essentially?
I think it really just comes down to like hours on the bike. I've I'm 21 years old, but I started riding when I was 2 years old. So I technically have, 18, 19 years of experience,
It's
which is
wild.
crazy to say.
Right.
So when you say it like that, it's really gnarly, but it all comes from me literally just riding every single day. And, and, going to BMX tracks, going to pump tracks, going to dirt jumps, going to skate parks, like switching it up and stuff, I think is really important. But yeah, I mean, it takes a while to get to the elites for sure. Like it takes a lot of laps and a lot of hours in the gym and a lot of training and everything. So it's not easy whatsoever. But yeah, I think it's still the main thing that you need to focus on is just riding your bike and just getting out there,
I
no
like
matter
that.
what it is. Yeah.
Gotta do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. You just gotta do it. You just gotta do it.
Yeah. For the love of it too. You can't put too
Yeah.
much. I feel like you can't put
Yeah.
too much
It's
pressure.
like you don't, and it shouldn't ever feel like a job. Like I've never felt like I'm at work. I've always felt like I'm doing what I love, which is the way that I want to keep it for as long as possible.
Yeah. Is that kind of surreal that it's like this is
Yeah,
your job?
100%. But
Gonna
I
travel the
try to
world.
not think that it's my job. I try to
Yeah.
think, and it's yeah,
Yeah. You just get paid
it's
for what
cool.
you love to do, basically, which is
Exactly.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people can have that in their book or back, pocket essentially, which is
Yeah.
cool.
No, I'm definitely very lucky.
Yeah. And I guess just to expand on that, so I know your background, I think you've done everything on bikes. Maybe moto's the only thing that you got to touch on here soon, Supercross maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think all of your bike expertise is like benefited you more than others, being that you have rode, slope style and
Oh,
jumps and
100%. Yeah, I think, you get so much air awareness from dirt jumps and slope and stuff like that and free ride, but you also get, the feeling of going up a lip really quickly and how that reacts and like you could, the feeling of being in the air as well, like that you have to get used to. So like if you're on a downhill track, there's going to be jumps, translates there. And then yeah, I think it's literally just, being in that riding position just will teach your whole body to, it'll just be muscle memory by the end of the day if you're doing everything. Yeah.
yeah. And how would you describe, I guess, how it like on that, how would you describe your riding style? Obviously you're lighter than you like compared to other guys
Yeah.
that are 6 foot and, 200, 190,
hmm
whatever it is. Like it's a different style of riding. Like how would you describe your riding style to compare to maybe like a Greg Menard or somebody else?
Yeah, I would say I'm less aggressive to the other guys. I try and use my legs a lot and my feet and stand pretty tall as well. So I'm like quite upright, trying to stand tall. But yeah, I'm basically just kind of sitting in a squat position where, some people are putting more weight on on the front and,
Mhm.
into their upper body where I'm trying to use my lower body more. I don't really know how that riding style and kind of just my setup and everything evolved into that, but it just kind of happened and it's been working. So I haven't been changing it. But I kind of just like kept like started putting my bars higher and liked it and then just kept going in that direction and putting them higher and higher and higher and kept liking it and more and then I kept changing other things and kind of doing the same thing. So
Or we going the Dak
um
Norton stacked bars this year?
well, I will
Maybe.
not go to his extent, but
Okay.
I've got quite a lot of stack under right now.
Crazy.
um I think I could basically run a 50 mil rise bar,
Okay.
which is pretty tall. Those are like
Yeah, that's
that
big.
tall.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I
Interesting.
might I might pull up the 50 mils. I don't know yet.
So it's not like your typical
Mm,
ride style, but he's doing something right. But obviously, it fits like the person too. Like you
yeah.
could anything. And I think for like watching you, like I guess being a lighter frame, I know the struggles are when it comes to the flat portions. Like you don't carry
Yeah.
speed as well. It seems like compared to somebody that's a little heavier or like built more. But it
hmm
seems like when it comes to the techie stuff, that's really where you benefit because you're like a bunny in there sometimes, bro. You're like
Yeah.
bouncing around and you're finding things that like no one else is really finding, which how did those even come to be? Is it just you're so light that you feel like you float over everything? Like you just try things and see if it works?
Well, that's where the slope style and other experience comes along. Like just being able to like hop from like this route over to that rock or whatever. Like just being able to be precise in like pulling a gap like that.
Hmm.
That's where you know my previous slope style stuff has helped me so much. So I think a lot of it comes from that, and also being a lighter guy as well makes it so much easier. Just having a smaller bike, being able to fit kind of into the holes a bit more. But yeah, I mean, like you couldn't, like Greg couldn't go down the same little features and little side hits that I'm
Right.
doing just because he won't physically fit inside of the holes that I'm hitting.
That makes sense. It's
Yeah,
interesting though. It's not like one body style. It's not like one body style or riding style dominates. Everybody has to go to that.
exactly.
It's like you're
Yeah.
doing this and somebody else is doing that, and it's still milliseconds between all you guys,
For sure.
which is
Everyone
crazy.
rides different and we all get down to the bottom at the same exact time, pretty
Yeah,
much. It's
it's cool
cool.
to see. And I guess beyond World Cups, and like, would you ever go back to? I know you at one point had to like figure out where you're going. Like, am I going slope
Yeah.
style? Am I going free ride? Like, beyond racing, at some point, do you ever see like a Rampage in your future, or like going
Yep.
back to like the free ride scene and just throwing down parts and all
I
that?
I do see free ride, kind of in the rear view of the whole racing thing, but I mean the racing is still where my heart's at right now, so I'm just gonna yeah, do that for as long as I can.
Dedicate. Nice. I like
Yeah.
it. following this podcast, like where could people follow you? Where's the journey? Like where does the journey go from here? You starting to get more active on the social, like when does everything start up for you, and when do you, like where can people follow you, I guess, if they want to keep following your journey?
Yeah, so we've got another little bit before the races start, but World Cups will be starting in middle of May.
Cool.
There'll be 10 races this year, so it'll be quite a bit more to watch. So an extra few rounds in there, which is nice. But yeah, if you want to, stay up to date, you can follow my Instagram. That's probably where I'll be posting the most
Nice.
stuff. But um, yeah, I've been starting to put some more stuff up on YouTube, some GoPro stuff, but just been throwing a bunch of content together
Yeah.
and then uploading it. Not been giving it much effort. So maybe
People
we'll
still
see
watch
that come back. But
it.
um, yeah,
Going into race one, what are you looking to forward most?
I think just dropping in, hearing the
Dropping in.
beeps. Yeah, hearing the beeps of the race and just dropping in for that first quali round.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it,
I'm
dude.
really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be first one in the books, episode 1. Big thank you to Jackson Goldstone for hopping on with us and giving us our first chat of our GoPro Bike podcast. If you're liking what you're hearing, be sure to tune in and follow all of our social channels at GoPro Bike and at GoPro on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.